Waves crash against a wooden hull. A red sail rises like a blood-stained banner. And from the mist, figures emerge, ironclad, silent, and merciless. The sound of oars, the glint of steel, the scream of a horn across the sea. To some, they were devils in human form. To others, heroes, explorers, kings. But beneath the iron and fury lies a deeper story. A world of runes, gods, farms, fire, and glory. These were not just raiders, they were something far more powerful. The word Viking conjures images of chaos, burning villages, clashing shields, and longships slicing through stormy waters. But behind that fury lived a society of farmers, poets, builders, and dreamers. A culture shaped by harsh winters, endless seas, and a thirst for the unknown. Between the 8th and 11th centuries, men and women from the icy north carved their mark across continents. They founded cities, rewrote laws, disrupted empires, and in their wake, they left legends that would echo for over 1,000 years. They lived by blade and belief. They worshipped gods who walked among mortals. They told stories as fierce as their storms, and just as unforgettable. This is not a tale of barbarians. This is the saga of a people who reshaped history, by sea, by fire, and by fate. Forget the war horns for a moment. Let's step inside a Viking village. Most Vikings were not warriors. They were farmers, blacksmiths, shipbuilders, and craftsmen. Life was tough, but organized. Their homes were long houses, simple wooden buildings with turf roofs heated by a central hearth. These spaces weren't just shelters. They were the center of family and social life. Large extended families lived together, sharing food, stories, and chores. The Viking economy was mainly agrarian. They grew barley, rye, oats, and raised animals like sheep, pigs, and cattle. Their days followed the rhythms of nature. Harvests in the summer, repairs in winter. Women held more rights than in many other medieval societies. They could own property, request divorce, and in some cases even lead households or trade expeditions. Children were expected to work early, boys learning trades, girls managing the home. But both learned to tell stories. Oral tradition was their main way of preserving history. And then there were the ships. The longship was a marvel of engineering, light, flexible, and fast. It could travel both across oceans and up narrow rivers. This changed everything and made the Vikings a mobile force unlike any other. But what made them pick up axes and sail into the unknown? In 793 AD, monks on the island of Lindisfarne were shocked by a sudden attack. It was swift, brutal, and unprecedented. That raid marked the beginning of what historians call the Viking Age. But why did the Vikings start raiding? Several factors combined. Overpopulation in Scandinavia, limited farmland, political rivalries and shifting power, and a cultural drive toward glory, wealth, and adventure, their targets. Monasteries, trading towns, and weakly defended coasts. Why monasteries? Because they were rich and poorly protected. Armed with axes, swords, and round shields, Viking warriors moved quickly. Their longships could appear suddenly and vanish just as fast. To their victims, they seemed like demons from the sea. But raiding wasn't just about destruction. Many Vikings settled in the lands they invaded. They created new communities in places like Dublin, York, and Normandy. They didn't just steal, they traded fur, amber, iron, in exchange for silver, spices, glass, and silk. Some even served as mercenaries, like the legendary Varangian Guard in Byzantium. Still, their image as ruthless plunderers would stick. But behind every sword was a belief system, a world of gods, giants, and fate. To understand the Viking soul, you must understand their myths. Their gods weren't perfect. They didn't sit on clouds. They fought, feasted, lied, and died. At the top of the pantheon stood Odin, the one-eyed god of wisdom and war. He hung himself from the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days to gain knowledge. Then there was Thor, the hammer-wielding protector of mankind, feared by giants, loved by common folk, and Loki, the trickster, always walking the line between heroes and villain. The Vikings believed the universe was divided into 9 realms, all connected by Yggdrasil. At the center was Midgard, the human world. Above it, Asgard, home of the gods. Below, Hel, the land of the dead. They did not fear death in battle because of Valhalla. For a warrior who died with honor, Odin's hall awaited, an eternal feast among the slain, training for the final battle, Ragnarok. Myth shaped every part of their world. Rune stones carved with tales of heroes. Ships built to honor the gods, amulets of Thor's hammer worn for protection. And storytelling was sacred. Skalds, Viking poets, kept history alive through epic sagas passed down across generations. But which parts were myth and which were truth? That line is where legends are born. Now, let's talk about how far the Vikings truly went. Yes, they raided England and France. But did you know they reached North America 500 years before Columbus? Around the year 1000 AD, Leif Erikson sailed west from Greenland and landed in a place he called Vinland, likely Newfoundland, Canada. They also traveled east, deep into Russia. The word Rus comes from Viking settlers known as the Rus's people, the roots of modern Russia. In Constantinople, they were elite palace guards. In Baghdad, they traded furs and slaves. In Iceland, they built the world's first parliament, the Althing. Their influence spread not just through war, but through culture, language, law, architecture, even days of the week in English. Tuesday, Partier's Day, Thursday, Thor's Day. Eventually, the Viking Age ended, not with a bang, but a transformation. Many Norsemen converted to Christianity. They merged with local cultures. Kings replaced jarls. Borders were drawn. Empires rose. But their legend never died. From Hollywood to heavy metal, from fantasy novels to modern DNA tests, Viking blood still runs through our stories, and maybe through you. So, were the Vikings heroes or villains? Raiders or settlers? Barbarians or visionaries? The truth is, they were all of it, and more. They lived by strength, spirit, and sea. They built ships, told tales, carved runes, and faced death without fear. Their world may be gone, but their fire still burns. If this journey through the Viking Age stirred something in you, a sense of wonder, or maybe a thirst for more, then don't let the voyage end here. Hit that subscribe button, give a like, and share it with a fellow history explorer. There's a whole world of ancient mystery out there, and this is just the beginning.